Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Game Week 3 of the new iteration, or whatever we want to call it, of the CM0102 Super League. Just adjust this a little bit. There we go. That's a bit better. See nothing so far of our glorious former leader, who were supposed to be taking part on comms tonight. So we'll just see where we go and crack on with things. Big night ahead. Obviously, everybody trying to find a bit of a point where they can get a little bit of grounding and try and start picking some points up. Last time out, results. As we saw again, the one an away victory yet again. I wonder if we'll see one tonight. Badger Boys currently sat top of the league after 2 games, with a solid 0-0 draw with Northern Burn, which I know I've seen it plenty of times, but yeah, definitely take a draw there. We got a 3-1 win against a few reserves against Foss Road, which we played a few ourselves. Exiles with a late sort of comeback and win against the Religious Boys. Fulchester really dominant 2-0 win against East Coast, which I'm sure Doom will be looking to put the wrongs right of there. Haggis with the new trio of whatever gentlemen against Los Santos. Again, really good attacking performance from them. Did take a 90th minute winner, but Baumer injured. Stacking it in over a close friend, Mike, with a penalty. I believe it was. Yeah, it was. Keeps sending off, hurting Mike, but dangerous side, as we've seen from the first game this season. Vikings playing out a 1-1 draw with Sloths, despite being overly dominant. Trezeguet's early goal just couldn't be capitalised on from Sloths before Vikings, got the equaliser with Henry. We'll click on. So I believe the Vikings do want to go on early, as usual. As we know, Jens is very much in front of us. If you do see a couple of players that are down in your reserves, it was just because I was just trying to clean it up a little bit when I was setting the teams up earlier on today. But looking at this here from the Vikings, kept the same shape. Excuse me. Bronkhorst in his position, which I believe probably his best position, where he were really good at the Devils. On the 5, his crossing may only be 11, but you've got a Cisco down that left, and it's pretty dominant, solid looking back 4 there. Del Vecchio has done bits every time he's played an AMC for people. He may go a couple of games without a goal, but he'll pop up with something. And then you've got Maxim, who at this present minute in time, yes, he's got 2 6s, but as we all know, it can definitely come good. Neil Scally in that centre midfield position, probably his best position. He's already got an assist this season. I do. Even though he's got a 10 for creativity, he's very much a creative, gets plenty of assists. So we'll continue there. We click straight over to the Los Santos guys, who realised there were a few players that they weren't overly keen on in their whole in their after some transfers or whatnot. So he's gone back to his original 22-man from before the season, and this is our lineup tonight. Castroman comes in for the injured Didier Gat, who's out 3 weeks, but he did plenty of bits there for Ian at Burn. If you just give me a second, one of the co-chairs is ringing as we start. Hello, Matt. I've sent it to his Exiles DM, mate. Oh, happy days, no worries, lad. All right, mate. Yeah, apologies about that. Fifey said he needed a link, which I DM'd to his Exiles account. 1 second. So I will hold on if we're waiting for the man himself to join in, and here he is as we speak. Good evening, Mr. Fife. I apologise about that. Duggan just ringing me as we started, and I sent it. I know it was late, on about 10 to 9, but I hope you're well, mate.
Yeah, good, thanks. I've just been sat in the lobby watching going through the teams.
Yeah, obviously it's been a bit of a tough start so far for Los Santos. I mean, looking at the side here, we've just run through the Vikings team. Casterman coming in, he's coming up from reserves, only at 93, because he's obviously played the reserve game beforehand. What are you thinking of this as an 11?
It's got all the credentials, hasn't it, to do well. Casterman's the only one you're unsure about. Raul and Shevchenko in the AM positions, they've flattered to deceive at times, but you also know they're capable on their day of doing something. And yeah, it's a decent looking side. Martin Said in the holding midfield roles, Vogel centre mid. A lot of people would have him. Obviously, he was an exile in the initial draw. So, but yeah, no, it's a strong looking side. It's just Casterman would be the only question really for me.
Yeah, like I was saying, mate, I think he did really well for Byrne there when he dropped in last time. Vogel, I do think he produces better at DMC. I had him at Deville the season after we won it, and he ended up coming in from Hull's, I think it was, and he was just churning 6s and 7s out. But I think being part of that, he sort of contributed to where we went. The big surprise here for me is Morientes. Although he's played once, got a 6, he gets goals galore for Odgie, no matter what team he's been over the time. But so obviously he'll get a start. But yeah, going to be interested to see where it goes. But obviously with a goal in one start, unsurprising that he's going with him. Is there
100%.
Any prediction you've got for this one, mate?
My initial thought would have been Vikings win, but with Santos at home, I'm going to go for a score draw.
Score draw. So we will kick it off and say we've obviously getting himself involved there early. Seemed like he was offside. Casterman's name's been said already twice again now. It seemed like another chance there gone wide from them. Barthez again having his bit of his work cut out, but just it seemed very, very quick. Los Santos, but that were very, very quick. If we look at the match report, there's not too much going on, and it didn't seem like Vikings had that. In fairness, looking over at the let's say look at the match stats. One off target, obviously that one that went wide from there. I mean, if we look at the player ratings on both sides, nobody by Barthez, which you'd expect looking at them tearing up any trees. Is there anything you see happening into this?
No, the ratings pretty much match what we've seen. Not a lot of action means not a lot of things to mark people up on. I think the second half can only get better. But yeah, I do think you look at both these teams. They look solid defensive units first and foremost. So it's which one has the tools to unlock the big chance.
Yeah, definitely. And like I say, looking at Cordoba and Cannavaro, Cordoba for me is very, very, very good and very proven Super League player. Obviously, an 8 in his one appearance so far. I have regret letting him go to East Coast before the last save started. But yeah, looking at all this. So, lads, if any of you are here, I don't know if anybody's seen Jens. Oh, Jens is here. And I haven't ever seen Odgie knocking about anywhere. So I've only just put the comments on like a clown. But I thought about it. We're coming up to half time. Is anything you've been doing here? So Jens is happy till 60. I still haven't seen. I'll give it another 30 seconds or so. But
depends the nature of why the Silvic starting. Obviously, Morientes is the obvious shout. You also look at Brozek and Figo and think there's plenty of supporting acts there to help out. But no, I imagine both will stick till 60. Yeah,
like I say, I mean, I haven't seen Odgie knocking about, and yeah, definitely, I think Figo for me is one of them that you've seen come on and do. He's had amazing single games, probably winning 7 or 8, and he's one of them that you feel like you just at some point you'd won't mind a little go with him, sort of thing.
He did wonderfully for me in my test saves. And it was one that I wasn't initially looking to offload, but when I realised that the mistakes I'd made, it was one that I had to kind of look to move on to improve elsewhere.
Yeah. So when you were test saving him, obviously we know last game against Dublin you went back to a similar formation to obviously what Boyce used to use all that time ago. Where were you playing him to get the decent numbers out of him?
I actually found he was doing bits in kind of the Ryan Giggs role, if you like. He was playing that sort of left winger position.
Yeah, I'd have definitely played him on one of the wings. So I've not seen anything from Odgie as yet. So we'll go on to 60, and this is the bit that I don't like. Still, even though it feels like I didn't do too many. Somebody was just hitting off the bar then for Los Santos. We're at 56 minutes. We're at 57 and at 61. Try and stop it, but it does look a little bit like Los Santos were a little bit
playing their way back into it.
Again, that shot off the bar seems to be all they've done. Nothing seems to have moved much. Cafu bringing his rating up, so his Lizarazu
a lot more 7s than there were at half time, and Lizarazu's up to an 8, which means he's starting to play his way into it as well. I'm looking over at the Vikings there, seeing Scalco and Del Vecchio rating a 6 at this point, thinking that they need a bit more. They haven't created anything so far in the opening 15, 16 minutes of the second half. So I'm definitely looking at maybe Brozek or Figo coming on for maybe Del Vecchio.
Yeah, I mean, looking at, just see Jens there says Figo for Del Vecchio, please, and swap him with Henry. And are you worried if Jens third game in a row so far and Sigalco's on a 6?
No, never worry for Jens.
If Sigalco were playing for you and you were 3 6s in a row,
it's very difficult to say because we've all seen what he can do in previous saves, and I genuinely believe, you know how in real life there are some players that did it for certain managers. I mean, just talking from my own perspective, Mpenza's not hit anywhere near any heights for a number of seasons now, yet he was the most feared striker when, back in the old Devils days, because he was hitting 20-plus goal seasons. So it's very difficult to say. I think Jens has proven before he can get people scoring goals. So I'm not worried at all. And if it comes to it and it's 5-6 games and he hasn't scored, because I do think he'll stick with him. And let's face it, someone isn't not going to take a punt on saying they can get him scoring and offer him something big for it.
No, definitely not. And I've just seen Paul there. Apologies, Paul. I'm not overly aware of how to move these comms over to right on stream yet. So, Odgie is here. Cheers, mate. Nice to see you. Anything looking over at your stats and where you're going? Is there what you want to do, mate? But yeah, I will ask as much as I'm fairly technically minded and I'm pretty good with a lot of technological stuff. This stuff's still a little bit.
I think it's more. I think it's more the sponsor, the StreamYard sponsored duck that covers part of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. So
you can't get rid of that on the standard version. It's only if you are like me for everything I use it for. You pay for the extra bits and pieces. You can get rid of the duck.
Yeah, so I don't think it's getting rid of. I think he's more moving us over to this side or to the bottom where some lads do. But I will ask the question and I'll just roll it on. Cheers, mate. And I'll sort it out for next one, Paul. Thank you. 5 was on drugs, 5 fair. I always said so, but nice for you to meet you again.
Yes, because so far I think me and Martin are still the only people to host it that are completely beyond reproach of any sort of shenanigans. Not saying that any of the current team are, but they were all part of the team that were there at the time.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Tato's fun. I think Tato's.
Yeah, he's just coming in and it's,
Tato's come in, so he's free from any blame.
It makes it an hard thing to be. And then there's Los Santos Basiliuk justifying being starting over Morientes, and there's a red card for Thierry Henry. It's probably not best to try it now. Yeah, I understand that.
Let's start messing about with the design now.
Which, and I know I'm in a far better state than a lot of people were expecting me to be a little bit earlier on. But is anything... It's a fat 5. I don't know where that's come from. And,
he's not happy being lumbered in as part of the leadership team that were involved in what saw the demise of the last save.
Yeah, if I'm honest, mate, I've said it a couple of times, and I totally understand the rhetoric around how bad it was, what was happening. Me personally, I just want to move on, just want to forget it, and just.
Quite right,
concentrate on everybody else that's here, but it's still going to keep rearing its head for a little.
Oh, of course it is.
No, gee, I don't think me starting to mess around and see what I can do is the best idea. It's probably it. So Jens,
am I right thinking last time you were on hosting duties was the one where you were out 35 Magners deep?
It may well have been. Mate. I don't think it was that bad. Brozek Scout. So it's just a Scally to Sorrow's place with up to CM. Brozek KMC next to Vigo with an arrow like that.
That's right. Duggan remembers Justin Walkergate.
Oh yes, Walkergate. Yeah. Now I do remember. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I've been fairly sensible today, just because the only person that doesn't deserve it is me. 47 Magnus.
47 Magnus is the cut-off point.
Yeah, it might not have been during.
Martin says Smuts had to literally tell you how to save the game.
So
good times.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's like lockdown times, when it's Steve.
Yeah, Save were on its way out anyway, wasn't it? So really bad. Obviously, with there being a red card, you can get a chance to change anything of your own. Look at these jump up in ratings here as well. Casterman up, Lizarazu, which for me, Lizarazu,
very underrated. I think
he is, but I think personally, and I don't think Bar Ziraberto. I think Candela at points. You get many left-siders or right-sided DMRs as good as they are. They get a mound of assists.
I would agree. Behind, I think Zé Roberto is considered the number one on that left side.
Definitely.
But yeah, you get the likes of Lizarazu, Candela, Dede, all in that mix just behind, I think.
So yeah, big improvement from Los Santos in that second half. Obviously the home team curse rolls again, as we are. Obviously we 5 shots with 2 on target in the second half, opposed to 1 off target for Vikings. They've really shut them out, and we're off again with another home win. Well played, lads. So anywhere else you'd like to go next, mate? Obviously we'll save you.
I can't remember what fixtures were, but let's go to either Sancti or Haggis next.
So, they're both
who play each other, ironically. Let's go to them. As I said, both teams.
So with Sancti being the home team, obviously there's bidding there for Ayala. For Vikings, there's stuff getting rejected by boards, I believe. Beforehand, this were all done before I got all the things. And this is how that David Collins started season.
Yeah, scored
very well in terms of goal scoring. Haven't really done anything rating wise, but I think he scored as many goals there as he did the last save. In fairness, which is testimony to Duggan for getting him playing. But as an 11 here, I know you've always had a thing about Duggan having quality sides and not getting too much out of them.
Well, one of my life mantras is you can't argue with fact. And the fact is, he does always have good sides and does consistently fail to do anything with them. Yeah,
I mean, and obviously Matt Ratzi, good signing coming in, is far better. I understand. I got chastised for letting Ayala go as part of Max Tonetto, and I did get Shane Tolley in as well, because I've never really had him on the home.
I like Ayala. I think he's a good defender, to be fair.
But I've never really had him, so I just thought, he may develop. But obviously, I think players with too little CA, with too much PA, I don't think they develop too much. Bit stupid, really. Same with a couple
I think that shows the difference in studiousness of people, because, I still have various chats with Smuts, even though we're at different clubs, and he'll constantly say, "Oh, PA of this player." So I'm like, mate, I don't care. I don't understand any of this. I don't use the editor. I don't look at any of this other nonsense that people talk about. I just don't understand it. I'm not intelligent enough. So I go by what I have a gut feel on and what I have seen work in the past.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And like you said, there's only just to try and plainly blunt it. There's only so many people that can be between 190 and 200 in the game. So people don't develop as good, especially when you're in a league where everybody's crammed in. Where I've brought in a few -2s this time, just to try and develop them for further down the line, and it don't look like it's going to work looking at them. So, but they were drafted.
It's all right, because all of our coaches are very highly rated, so all the players will develop really well.
Yeah, well, that's it. Looking at the bench for me here for Sancti is where they're lacking a bit. Derek McInnes, He's just a tackling,
Can I
kicking
see
machine.
that subs bench again in full? Sorry.
Yep.
That's not a subs bench for me. That's one of the oddest looking subs benches I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, I only run through a full season once to test him because I've just found that as much as you can test and you can load what formations you think people are playing, like I say, I don't look at anybody's tactics, but you're playing against your own tactics as well. So you could be doing really well. You could get one team doing really well who won't really do well, or vice versa. You get good teams that you try and do well when you don't because people know how to get them working properly. Ronald Gomez is one definitely who he can perform on a home serve. But yeah, the 11 for me, I know you were big on getting a left sider in. I think it'd have been easier.
I would have George Gatos in that list I was talking about, that sort of Lizarazu list. I would have him in that same category.
Between him and Contra at Burn, they were superb on them flanks, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, you've got one of the best right wing backs on the entire game as well.
So I looked up earlier, just as we were talking, I saw Duggan mention something about a mad comment on Ayala. You think the board would be wrong to dismiss Duggan?
I think the board would be wrong too. It's too early in the season to be considering anyone's position.
But yeah, especially the almighty one himself, number 17 for Matt Arase. We go to Agis, who go like this. Wilfred Balmer's got an orange injury, so it's basically Perez.
Balmer's another one on that left side list. Everyone you're mentioning is on that list.
Yeah, left side is a tenner penny at the minute. I think that's the thing. Right siders are the harder ones to come by. But Robert Perez, he's had 2 subs appearances, 2 assists. Obviously, they were both in the last game. I believe they were both in the last game.
Deserving of his place?
Yep, come off a 9. And 2 assists off the bench. Remember that time when he played for the for Mike last year, and he played up front and he got an hat-trick. I don't know how it happened. AMLRC and just like, I'll stick him up front, and he goes and does that.
False nines.
The Pet Covia for me, he's not really a DM personally, but Emerson can do bits as we know with that arrow. I think he's very good. What are your thoughts of the Agis 11, mate?
I like it. In tests, I had Haggis kind of set up like this. And Van Nistelrooy was fucking pain in the ass to play against. Just scored every single time against my team. I tried having every defender I had man mark him, and he still would score every single game. On your comment regarding the defensive midfielders, with the arrows, I actually quite like the look of those 2 there. I think that could work really well. And the goalkeeper's not one I'm too familiar with, and Perez wouldn't necessarily be people's first choice left winger. But overall, they've got so much knowledge, wisdom, and understanding in that coaching staff at Haggis. I can't possibly slate them.
No, definitely. I mean, obviously, Van Nistelrooy and Emerson were drafted to me this time round, and literally within 5 minutes of draft, Rocks came to me offering Ambrosini, Constantino.
Don't talk to me about Ambrosini.
Kivu, and.
Do you know what I have to say? Because I don't pay as much attention as other people, so I don't really notice much of what's going on with other clubs and their transfers. But I have to say, Rocks, of all the people, Rocks would be in my top 5 people to do business with, because whether you get a deal done or not, he's just really easy to. Do you fancy this? No, but how about this? Oh, we were looking for this. Okay, can we meet in the middle or not? And then it's fine, handshake either way, and off you go. Happy days.
Yeah, but that really, it come to me, like I say, within 4 players for them too, and I just said, yeah, let's do it. Obviously, looking back on. So anyway, have you got a prediction for this one, mate?
It's we've got the home curse at the minute, haven't we? So I'm going to say that Sancti nick this 2-1.
2-1. So we will kick it off, and we need to kick off and put it up. And there's Agis, there's Emerson with that arrow from DMC as we talk about. Juan Gomez in Sancti colours there, obviously getting involved in some instead of breaking up some player of theirs. When this Roy's having his name mentioned, sounds like Campbell and Materazzi were knocking balls about between themselves. Del Piero seemed to be really getting involved. And there's Petkov with the Furies. We're talking another DMC with an arrow on. It does seem very Haggis at the minute.
Do you know what? This is insane.
Pretty dangerous as well. Then there's Van Nistelrooy being a focal point for this Haggis side. There's Penza right on half time. I mean, it's one of them where you see more chances than it seems from one team in terms of Sancti. I mean, obviously it did seem very Haggis.
No, I thought Sancti were good value in that half as well. I'm glad both teams scored. I thought they both deserved it. But yeah, Haggis looked like they played quite well.
You got Archie back there on a 5. David Collins not doing too much at the minute, which obviously he hasn't done overly much in terms of ratings the last couple of games that we've seen. Petkov, Gomez.
I think Sancti have bigger problems than those two at the moment, though.
Yeah, so Duggan's ready to go as is. Thank you very much, mate.
This is their first home game of the season as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed, yeah. And then you look over here where Juan Gomez and Petkov assists out of Borch.
So I don't know how it's covered across on YouTube, but yeah, I put the comment in halfway through that half that this was insane because it was absolutely fine in the first game, but in this game, I just had the slightest bit of lag. So like it would stop for about a second and then I would just get a shit ton of text come through and I'd be like, what on earth is going on in this half? It looked absolutely mental.
Right, well, I remember that one that I did do from upstairs, which were early doors. I think it was first. So Greaves is wanting to go as is as well.
Yeah, both have said as is.
But I am on top of the route at this present minute. So I'm Penza with his third goal of the season, getting really back into it. And Georgetta, as you were saying, with that assist,
mate, it's 66 already.
Oh, bloody hell!
I'll keep an eye on the clock for you.
This is.
But Penza's made it 2-2. He knows that I'm watching, and much to Sancti's delight, he remembers what it's like to have me in the stands.
So if you go back a little bit here, we see Tato.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
And then as we come back a bit more, Duggan in. Apologies, lads. Sorry, I was just enthralled by this. Was that the same at half time? Where's this in penalty? Oh, it's penalty. That's why. Does it not class a shot on target than a penalty? Not sure.
Guessing not. Still an enjoyable game of football, this though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Ian. Don't worry about it. I'm the worst one at doing this.
You're doing fine, mate.
But Quentin again on another 8. Obviously a Rocks draft pick and looks a very, very well-rounded, very good keeper. And Greaves is straight in there with Guilherme for Amoroso.
So a couple of times he is rated as a Haggis star player on the blank save we've got. It's interesting because he's got no credentials whatsoever.
Sorry, babe. What was that? I was too busy reading just to make sure I didn't. It's as if he swapped with Walter and Roberto Perez. It's 3.
All 3 changes. Haggis reacting to throwing away the 2-goal lead.
But which, as we know, Lauren Robert came on and did absolute bits for Greavesy in the last saves and out league signing.
Look at Big Emil, 2 shots, 2 goals. Rolling back the years.
I mean, he's won 2 key headers. Have they both been headers? If he's won 2 key headers,
no, one's a penalty.
Target. Looking back there, just see that Ross were giving it large to Duggan. That he's getting sacked in the morning just before Big Emil did that. So Duggan, what you want to do, mate? And with the assist. Oh yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah, I did miss that. I was too busy trying to read. Anyway, we kick back up. We've got the rest of the game.
I think there's more goals in this yet.
looking at this, yeah, it feels like there's another goal coming from
Oh, it's a red.
With a red card. Petkov dropped down to a 7. It seems that although the main season not rating,
I'd actually leave that as is, I think.
Yeah, and like I say, the AMCs are not rating really well from Sancti, but obviously putting a bit of pressure on if Petkov's dropping down. Maybe it was his assist that that were bringing him up to an 8. So Ian or Greavesy, as he's he's at the wheel at the moment. Is there anything you want to do? See if he.
I don't think there's much he can do there. The players, he can't make any subs. The players are in their best positions. It's purely an Arrows game at this point, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I'd have done the same thing. Just make sure your DMs stay there, and then
Duggan's already gone as is as well.
Yeah, appreciate that. Looking at this, they've really come at 4 in the second half, as we saw this Sancti.
Pressure's building.
Yeah, and like you say, it feels like another cut. That red could really put the cat amongst pigeons for having another goal in. We're up to 80th minute.
Oh, Zanetti!
Javier Zanetti.
Surely not an away win.
They were behind. They were not doing very well whatsoever, and then they've gone and got a goal.
Oh, equaliser coming! Equaliser coming! No. Wow, fair play. Okay.
I think a draw there would have been more than acceptable for both sides.
I'm looking at that thinking if you're pretty much matching the home side, you're like that, especially playing, not a massive amount, but a decent portion of time with 10 men. I as the away side, I'd be hoping I've won this, but as a minimum, I'd be hoping for a point as the away team.
How things change in such a short space of time. This. Yeah.
I think it's the second away win of the season, if I remember rightly, Ian.
So we'll go over to look at that from Walter Samuel. 15 of 16 tackles, 12 of them being key. That is an absolute colossus from a centre half. And then Tretadze come on and
played his part.
Yeah, massively. I think, to be fair, if he hadn't come away with a win, and there's Quentin on 8.5 from 2 games now that he's played. I think if you're coming away from looking at them ratings for an away performance, you're delighted, aren't you, for the Aggies boys?
100%. And it just goes to show the class that they've got on the touchline there, because the subs have come on, as I say, and not so much Robert, but the other two, you can see their ratings there. They've clearly contributed towards that performance and result. Yeah,
definitely Guilherme, although he may not have won any of his headers, he's obviously putting himself about and getting in there. So we'll have a look over it. At Duggan's lot, Saul Campbell with a very good performance. Stephen Gerrard.
Do you think he's potentially done himself there by not having recognisable game changes on the bench? He was very quick at half time at 60 and at the red cards to just go, no, as is, not changing anything.
Yeah, I think in fairness, he has lost some good players to get a good 11 and try and fill in and around.
Has he gone a bit Edwards on the situation? Gone all in on an 11 and fuck the rest of the squad?
I think he may well be. And there's
welcome, Jack.
Welcome, Jack. It's a lot better than than it is when people are forgetting stuff. But massive away performance, and you've got 3 top players in terms of stats on the game doing bits for Aggies. But Emil, 4 and 3. There's still plenty.
I do have a meal back in my team.
So we clicked over Slossful Chester. Shall we?
Yeah, why not?
So we have a look at Robert's side. There's a deal in the offing for John Terry going to Fulchester with Zinedine Zidane coming this way. Rob likes Zinedine Zidane.
Fucking hell! Zidane being passed around again.
Already. At least he can't be passed around again until next time.
Christ.
But, the thing is, this form.
Zidane's had more clubs than I've had dinners.
Yeah,
I'm a fucking fat bastard.
Over the course of me watching Super League, being invited to be involved in Super League, he's had absolutely. And I genuinely think the best I've seen him, he had a spell of about 5 games for Scott. And I think he got 3 10s and a couple of 8s. He scored an hat-trick in 1 game, I think. Obviously, saved before last. But bar that, he's done very, very minimal. But
by the way, looking at this Sloths team, if Salahamidzic is your weak link, you have got one hell of an 11.
Yeah, for me, I'd be starting probably Ronnie Johnson over Kivu. I'm not a massive Kivu fan.
I see. I'm the other way. I'm not a big Ronnie Johnson fan.
I mean,
he did very well at. He was very good deputy at. Was it Dragons in the old iteration?
The last year for us, mate, he were fantastic.
Oh, was it you?
Yeah, really, really good last season. I mean, looking at this, his pace for a 32-year-old. Everything about him for me screams.
I mean, I'm 33. I definitely haven't got 18 pace.
And me personally, Rob's weak link here, which Trezeguet did bits for you when you come into Gazelles last year. It's this centre midfield for me, Mark Kerr and Van Bommel. Biggest myth in Super League. I know there's some.
No, not even close. No? I mean, it's so much so that I've even had a conversation, but it didn't get any further than a conversation about the possibility of Van Bommel putting on an owl shirt this year. And I'm a fan of a Mark Kerr, so yeah, I wouldn't call him a weakling either.
I'm just thinking at this level, we've seen Van Bommel. I think I had him at Dudley Hill, and yeah, I think from about 12 games, 13 games, because I've been him straight off in the mid-season. He played 13 games. He ran about 6.76, I think it was.
But let's not forget, we're talking about a game that has one of the greatest ever players to grace a pitch. And as we've already said, he's been passed around about fucking 50 clubs in the history of the Super League because apparently Zidane can't play, but Mark Kerr can.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then obviously looking at this, Rossini's injured and Roberto Musa found his way on the bench, picked by Alf for the draft. I know there were other people who had him on their draft list. Is there anything about Musa you like looking at his stats?
Well, I mean, Alf tried to offer him to me, and I was like, no, I'm all right, thanks. But you know, he's got some decent attributes in the right places. Clearly, decent finishing for forwards. He's got good pace as well. So yeah, he could be a dangerous player.
Yeah, a very good player in my opinion. But it does, and then 33 Johnson. And
spoke to Sloths about a few players over the last week or so, but yeah, it's just not quite happened that we could get anything agreed.
No, so as we said, Fulchester had a massive win at home.
If I remember right, because I did have an absolute mare on Thursday where I was tuned in until about halftime of the Coast game, fell asleep, woke up as my game finished. If I remember right, Fulchester not only won, but won quite well.
Yeah, very well, mate, in fairness. 7-7 on target.
Oh, it was the Coast game.
Looking at that, really, really good with how they were. And
that's right, Chiesa scored, yeah.
Looking at where Macca's gone, obviously with Zidane still being about, he's playing him again. He's on 19 shirt. Since when were Ronnie Johnson 19? I just remember it being number 5 at Man United. I think that's all the time I know. He's obviously made some moves in the transfer market. Constantino from us. He had a goal disallowed on debut, being offside, so I binned him off. And then he brought Julio Akin, who had an 8 for us last time out, an assist against Foss Road. But he were on the plane, obviously, because of getting this move sorted. But looking at this, what do you feel about this Fulchester side?
I always rate a Macca team. He does seem to have some misfortune when it comes to initial drafts or picking up squads, and it does take a couple of windows to get where he needs it to be. But I always rate a Macca squad, and I'm looking at this now. You talk about myths. Seedorf either does it or he doesn't. There's no in between with him. Zidane, we know he is the myth. Emre is one that always looks like he might do something but never really does. It's arguably the weakest Super League midfield I've ever seen Macca have. But equally, you look at it and think, if they turn it on, they really could do bits. And of course, when you've got I've made no bones about it. The thing I'm missing is having someone like a Crespo who can finish when he's given the chance. So when you've got someone like a Crespo at one end and someone like a Lucio at the other, you know, you've got the foundations there to do well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Seedorf for me, when Martin brought Dan in at Gazelles. He averaged about 6.9, but got an absolute boatload of assists. So you're not really bothered about average rating.
This is it. If they're performing, the rating doesn't matter. It's when they're not performing, the rating starts to matter, in my opinion.
And there's Paul Taylor. He loves full Chester midfield, but Slough 11 is great. He's good to admit it. They have a little bit of to-in and throw-in. I think Paul's missus just picked a team when he started watching and became a Slough fan as well. So I think that annoyed him as well.
What I'd love to know is if anyone's partners, when they see them watching basically a load of 30-plus-year-olds talking shit about a 20-year-old game, do they come up with nicknames for us all? That's what I want to know.
So, to be fair, when me and my better half got together we've been together just over 2 years now, and for the first
really 2 years, fucking hell, Steve, well done.
June, just in June it was 2 years, so coming up to 2.5 years. But I used to get a good luck message every Thursday.
Oh, I remember this, good luck message on a Thursday, yeah.
And then they obviously I won it due to that, and now I get nothing. So
you need to get the good luck messages back, and you'll get another star.
I do, indeed. Any predictions, mate, for Hulk on Captain America colours or Spider-Man colours or whatever you want to do?
Sloths should win this with the strength of their team, but Macca is up there for me as one of the best. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I agree. They're just playing a tactic that should work and just generally doesn't, does it?
With Smuts there putting cat fucker, which I'm guessing is aimed at me, I'd just like to thank you for sending me the cooker cat comment as well. I appreciate that. I'm still, all these years later, getting cat content sent to me just because I'm a lonely has-been spinster at the age of 33 that lives alone with his cat.
And this has been
fucking Crespo, I tell you.
There's Crespo with his.
He's got a touch of the Vieris.
Third goal in 3 games. Obviously, he's had an assist as well. He's contributed massively. There's no reason why he shouldn't do.
See, this is what I'm looking for. Paul said, "Yeah, we do get nicknames. They're not pleasant. This is what we want to know. What are our nicknames?"
And there's Christian
Kivu
on 45 minutes. Again, somebody scoring to pull it in.
Good game.
You're a bit disappointed to go in 1 down if you're Rob?
If you're Rob, yeah. But if you're Mackie, you're thinking, do you know what? We probably deserve that. And this is what I'm saying. Look, Crespo's that striker. If he gets a chance, he can just put it away. 2 on target, 2 goals.
I remember when I brought him in to season 7, and he scored. I think he had 13 goals in 26 games for me one season, but I think 5 of them were against the Dragons, so it were really like a moot point. We'll have a look over at the away side first, obviously. Ernie Crespo with a 9-2, 2 shots on target. Not really getting involved too much with any passing. Sadov, as we were talking about before, and when he turns up, he can assist. There's a lot more improvement to come, though, in that side as well, considering their result at the minute, would you think?
Yeah, no. Again, they're playing above the sum of their parts, I would say, in terms of Super League ratings anyway. I think that goal just before halftime by Kivu does change the dynamic slightly. But I think Sloths will equalise. But yeah, I think Macca can be quite happy with that.
No, that's it's a good performance. There's, as I've just popped up, Ross's missus at Wakefield last, so she supports Dudley-Hill. Dudley-Hill, Bradford, where I'm from, mate. But I do my office or where I work is in Wakefield as well, so I'm in there a lot. So she does right by being supporting a club that has actually won this league as well, mate. We'll click over.
Speaking of Bradford, I know you're very much Bradford when it comes to the odd shaped ball, but you're a Leeds fan when it comes to the proper game. But did you see the thing going around about the Bradford mascot and what he's doing with Andy's Man Club at the moment?
Bradford mascot?
Yeah.
What, with Andy's Man Club?
Yeah.
Oh, Bullman, is it?
I don't know, whatever the chicken thing's called. Billy Banter.
Oh, that's football, mate. That's
Yeah,
not,
that's what I said. This is what happens when you have too much to drink. You don't fucking listen, Steve.
No, you said about odd-shaped balls. No, I didn't realise that Bradford City themselves were. I do think obviously I've been to Bradford Bulls game today because my lad were mascot up there, and there's a big thing. They were all training in Andy's Man Club tops as well.
You know the Billy Bantam. So the guy who plays the role of Billy Bantam is quite involved with Andy's Man Club, and they and he's done. Remember the old ice bucket challenge where you would do it and then you'd nominate 3 people. So he's done a football-based one, and then he's not fucking listening now.
I am.
Fuck off, Steve. No, just press play. Fuck off. I won't bother.
No, so Billy Bantam's doing
remember the old ice bucket challenge? He's doing a football-based challenge where he's then nominated 3 mascots himself.
Yeah, he's to be fair, he walks around playing City Gent as well sometimes and slinging sweets out to kids. I've been to a few Bradford games. I've got no hatred for Bradford as much as they hate us. So have a quick look here. Rob saying, Muzzy on Smith, I've noticed that Macca was, and is that
Shea Given as well?
Yeah, I mean two on target for Crespo, and that were definitely going to be a change. Sometimes I just leave them, me personally, because they can't get any worse, really. So
who Sloths?
The keepers. It don't matter who and
they fucking can, believe me. Frey was bad against Badgers and got worse.
And that
told you they'd equalise.
Is it? And they jumped from 47 from when Trezeguet scored to right up to 63 minutes, which I managed to stop. We'll pull that player ratings up for both teams. Having a look at that. Still very solid apart from Chiesa. Still a very solid performance from Colchester boys. Anything you'd be doing if you were Ivan manager here, mate?
Well, I think Macca has to react now because the team's thrown away a 2-goal lead. Chiesa still being on a 5 isn't ideal. I'd be looking maybe at Hersey's the answer, or do you change it slightly, go 2 up top with Big Constantinu as well? But yeah, other than that, Sador's still doing bits. Crespo has still got his high rating, so yeah, I'd carry on.
Yeah, so Edwards is saying it was a good 60-minute stop when it jumped from 47, 48. I were actually watching this time.
It's not easy, is it?
It don't even begin to. Not easy. Don't even begin to put it. Constantino for Chiesa. No problem, mate. Just before I could continue, that were okay. Mac has said he'd like Constantino at AMC, which I believe with his pace and he can be a bit creative. I believe he's he maybe can do it. He is 0 in the editor for people that know about this randomised stuff to play it. And I guess Ian, sorry, have you been to Wakey Wines? I've not been to Wakey Wines. No, I wouldn't step foot in that place. Although I only work not far around the corner from it. So we'll see this game out.
Did Rob not want to do anything?
No, Rob went as is, mate, as I saw, and it's definitely been far more to and fro this. Although Fulchester do seem for the last 10 minutes, so been
reacting
really,
has put Fulchester back on top now.
Yeah, definitely, and big disallowed goal from Ronaldinho, who hasn't really torn his trees up as of yet.
No, he's an interesting one, isn't he? Everyone wants him. Even if you think back again, everyone wanted him all them seasons ago when he was wearing this shirt. But I was quite happy to cash in on him in the end because he looks good and he does contribute, but he doesn't contribute what you think he contributes. I think at Dragons maybe he had one really good season from memory.
Yeah, he did last time out, and let's be honest. No AMC's continually produced at this because the DMC position is so strong with many players. But
it depends what you do with them. Mac has had good success with various AMCs, and Hodgie as well. I think he's had Aymar doing it consistently.
Hodgie had Aymar best at Devils playing in AMC with no arrow, but then again, since then he's been willing to bin him off. So. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 games left. Are you happy enough to go to East Coast stacking as we stand?
Of course, mate. Yeah. Crack on.
I'm sure when he gets it back, he can sort it out. But they were still trying.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, well, I didn't know to promote. It's easy enough putting people down that you don't think are going to play, but bringing people up into a 24 is not my sort of thing. But look at very nimble formation he likes very much. If you ever played networks with him, wingers.
The team is outrageous, by the way.
Yeah, and Mario Stanic, massively for me, should have been involved from the start due to how we played last season, especially. I think he had, what did he have? Did he have 7 goals and 2 assists in 10 games?
Well, he wasted no time. Wasted no time bringing him back in. Because again, if I remember it correctly, he was initially drawn into my team, and I think within 24 hours of the first draw, he'd gone to Coast.
Yeah, he liked him. He did really well. Yeah, our player stats were on at the end. Didn't I clicked on showing both teams at the same time. And Steve, you near Phillips Hair Salon? What, in Bradford or Wakey, mate? I don't know. I don't even know Phillips Hair Salon in either, to be fair. But yeah, very good 11. 2 very good wingers. Up here for me personally, Palermo did get a goal on debut.
I think he's one of those strikers that if you give him the chance, he can go on a run of scoring goals.
Yeah, I think, and last save he didn't get much chance. He played at Slough. I brought him in from Slough to White Rose, and I think he'd scored 4 goals in 7 games for Slough, and they were just easy to piss him off, which I was surprised about, really, because I didn't really realise how it were. What happened to Edwards' ruling, by the way? Yeah, you did sell Constantino Ian, but he played for us. So anything that happened prior to game week 1 were there, and then anything happened prior to game week 1 didn't count
as a separate window.
Yeah, and then for the new window coming in, so now I brought Takanadi in this window from Sloths, which he can't move again till next season. So because he's
not even going to fucking play.
So we'll do that, and Taibit obviously going to get the number 1 shirt.
Bullshit deals in this league at times. Fucking pissing all over the little guy.
So we're over to the Stackington Colliery side, a side that we're...
Okay, so I'm gonna throw it out there straight away. I was having a conversation with another manager about this, and there are a few teams who it's absolutely bizarre, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, because I've actually predicted Stackington to do quite well. I think I had them about 7th or 8th in my predictions before a ball was kicked. It's amazing when you've got drafted, I don't know what it was, the top 200 players in the game or something, that you can look at certain teams and think, I don't really like anybody in this squad. And that's kind of how I look at Stackington. But what they are is a squad built in their manager's image. And that's why I think they're going to do really well. I mean, with the exception, I'm looking at this 11 now, with the exception of Dyer and Vieri, Ambrosini now, but he wasn't there, obviously, when the game was first sent round to the managers. With the exception of Dyer and Vieri, I don't really like anyone. But what I do like is what I know Dan can do with this team. He can do things with this team that I would never be able to do.
So you don't like anyone but Dyer and Vieri? Is that right? Or...
Yeah, but if you were listening, I said Ambrosini wasn't there when I looked at the squads.
Yeah, it's this thing. I mean, to be fair, I'll be totally honest with you, mate. I know quite a lot of players, quite deep in database. I do not know Fernando Moran at all. I didn't know he was at Santander either, where I played Spanish.
You thought he was at Halifax?
And then Edwards is saying that Marcelino is the manager. He came in to Dan last year at Bostock, last save, and he did absolute bits for him, which I'm not surprised to see him come back in and do really well. Penner, another one I'm not overly knowing of. His stats look okay, passable for a centre half. So But yeah, as you say, mate, it's very done. And Ambrosini,
46.
number 46, as I've been told about 500 million times when I knew the first time. But any predictions for this one?
My head says Coast win this 3-1. But my heart says 1 apiece. So I'm going to go somewhere in the middle and say Coast 2-1.
2-1. Oh, Stacking captain was supposed to be loose enough. Apologies, mate. There you go. Which I did change it before I saw your comment come through about loose enough anyway, mate. So Stanic looked to be getting himself in there earlier. Does that seem like it was a yellow card for? And there he is already. I was saying yellow card for Upia before seeing the saying. Well, it's 2-0. Ambrosini on his debut. What are doing wrong before playing him in where I played him? But again, it's been very much a night of teams coming back into it after being a couple down and looking like they could even draw and go on to do any better. But half time in this.
My prediction was for the half-time score.
I was looking at that.
Striker with a 1 chance, 1 goal ratio. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was Ambrosini, wasn't it? A defensive midfielder with a 1 chance, 1 goal ratio.
Yeah, so you're looking at that. And Taibbi 6 is a 1 on target that he hasn't saved and he's on a 6. So I think if you're happy enough if you're if you don't see anything lower than 6 for that, I think you're happy enough, aren't you? Again, a lot of 6s and 7s. Celias doing bits. Dimble's going as is. Thank you very much, mate. A lot of 6s on stacking inside. There's plenty to look at. So Dan wants to look at conditions, and not too bad, really. I think Moran looking Moran, however it's pronounced, looking the worst of the bunch. Anything? Oh yeah, you want numbers, don't you? Eventually as well. So Dan's okay to 60. Match stats. I know he wants thing as well. So looking back, seeing Milewski's name knocking about, doing. He's obviously getting robbed around 54 minutes. Palermo just looked like he's getting involved, and it's jumped up to 62. And Marcelino has
another team. How many times are we going to see teams go 2 down? It fills me with a little bit of confidence that we might go 2 down and come back to level tonight.
Yeah, it's been very much one of them nights. Sometimes you do see a trend, don't you, in terms of results and things that go on in games.
Better this than a load of 0-0s, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. So we look over at Stacking and Karaoke, a goal assist, and he's still only on a 7. I mean, he's not had much of the ball. I mean, I think it's pretty harsh 7, unless he's been getting tackled and doing dribbles. But with his course, look at theirs. It were a Palermo assist and Harry Kuehl assist. Mario Stanic.
Harry Kuehl's a good player on this, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I think the last save, I think it was his determination went down like that is. I wouldn't be overly inclined to get him again in a hurry, if I'm honest. So
see, interestingly, again, and I can only liken back to when I was last involved properly, which was many seasons ago. But I would have been more inclined. Like I obviously kept Kuehl longer than I kept Ronaldinho because I think he offers more.
Yeah, definitely, because he's more versatile in terms of where he can play as well, isn't he? So Yakubu for Milewski. And Cagnet for Moran. Let's swap him with Marcelino. I think that's it. And just double check about that arrow on Stanic. Yeah, I thought I did. And then we've got full time. And
let's go.
Sorry, lads. So East Coast kick off, and see Barry Ferguson, and he seemed like he got involved, and then he's obviously had a shot, and that jumped from 70 minutes to there in no time.
Oh, Dad's not happy. You fucked it right up.
I tell you what, this might be me retiring from it, honestly.
I shouldn't have been chatting. I should have been keeping an eye on what was going on. Sorry, I'll take the blame, Steve. I was distracting you with conversation.
Yeah, no, sorry, mate. It were.
These things happen, don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, they happen when. Right, I'm just going to get the rest of these games done, mate. That's right. We'll go to the.
Mate, honestly, don't let it shake your confidence. You're doing fine.
Right, so we go over to Foss Road, gone for a typical 2-7-1 type look. Paredes coming in. Don't think he's played so far, but I think he's playing.
No, I saw Smuts mention that in his Twitter post.
So yeah, looking at this, obviously Van der Beek coming in for his debut.
He was literally like a fucking bull on heat trying to get Van der Vaart from me since he got the club.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously we know he was, and I know it took him a bit of time for it to get it over the line. Saviola, AMC, I don't like it. Really don't like him in AMC.
I don't like it.
But he did that for when Jens brought him in, and then he did very good there. He played up in a 2 for Dudley Hill prior with Luca Toni. Obviously, his wing backs normally all right, but I do believe that Liverani is probably more of a left side winger, left wing back than a central midfielder. And he's got the passing his pace. It looks a little bit down to normally. But yeah, and Paredes, I'm not surprised he's letting him go but I know Dan absolutely loves him because he's done. Dan had him at Leathersford.
He's got very good attributes, to be fair, in key areas.
Yeah, it's class. It's class. And to me, he probably could be somebody who could be retrained as a centre back because looking at his way it looks, he's just a very, very strong player. And obviously, the old boy doing all right so far. Well, a 10 and a 6 equals 8, doesn't it? So that's.
It's interesting because obviously Hofland and Zé Roberto are two big misses, but Liverani, you perhaps notice it a bit more, but you look at the partnership of Maldini and Lawson, and it's not weakened that much, really.
No, I mean they've got obviously Maldini's pace is okay. Larson, I'm sure he's got single-digit pace for a centre half, but he's had a really good game to start with. I think he scored, didn't he? First game out. Hofland for me. Don't do it so much. There is a transfer in place whenever these players make an appearance for Rocky Junior to go to another club.
Presuming that club being Dudley Hill, then?
No. It's certainly not Dudley Hill. Let's have a look. 19, Viscount 14, Franca 17, who scored the winning goal against Foss Road, or scored a goal last time out against Foss Road. For us on his way there. We go over to the Badgers boys. Obviously, this little arrow from. Well, that's fair enough. I think you don't need pace for 17 position. Scores with an arrow into the backside of Nikiforenko. Yet again, looks an awful Nikiforenko. There's something about this.
First transfer I did was getting him out the club, and he scored against me.
Yeah, he's got 2 goals in 2. 9-7. He's one of them. I think he just needs playing in this league. He became the best I've seen him. Last save, he was doing really good for White Rose. In fairness, I think he played about 7 games out of 5 contributions after we brought him back in. Contra, obviously as good as a DMR he is, can play on the wing. He obviously gets assists galore.
I think the wingers again, we're looking at someone who's got 2 of the very best. Wide players in the same team here.
Right. So Rocky Junior didn't need a player drafted him. Right, I'll have to have a look at that about the drafts. Sorry, mate. I was clicking through when I was sorting teams out earlier, just looking at appearances. So I'll have a look at who were drafted, who weren't.
It's been widely spoke about as well, but it's the best looking Inzaghi that I can remember seeing. He's going to score goals this year.
Yeah.
and partnering with Clivert, who should be capable of scoring goals as well. There was a moment where it looked like Clivert might become an exile, but that didn't quite happen.
And Lee Fowler getting a Super League game. Ooh.
Good for him. This is why we love the Super League, for random things like Lee Fowler getting a game.
Yeah, indeed. Panucci finding his way onto the bench with a 90% yellow injury, orange injury. Wonder if that's to do with any things. Yeah, I think Lee Fowler did play in the other Super Leagues. He's obviously a legend of a home save player. So any
I really like what Smuts has done at Foss Road.
Predictions from you,
mate? The way Tato ripped me apart game week 1, I'm going to say that he edges it in a 3-2 goal fest.
3-2 goal fest. So we kick it off. When the back kicks it off, it's probably one of the only touches you might get all game. Even though the Foss Road team on top, possession-wise, it did seem very, very white and black to start with. But it seems like they're definitely having some more chances and coming back into it at this present time. Mr. Oliphant getting his name in the comms as well. But about another long range shot from him. Brady's looked like him in trouble. Some Scholes looked like he were offside, and it just seems to be playing out into another half time. Anything?
I thought it's a bit more exciting than that.
It looked it. It looked it in fairness, didn't it?
I thought Badgers. It looked like Foss Road had a fair bit of the ball, but it looked like Badgers were a bit more dynamic with it and had maybe created a few more chances, which I suppose technically they have. But I expected both teams to have slightly higher numbers in terms of chance creation. And again, it's one of those where the ratings represent what's actually been served up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, looking at this as a 6 and a 7s, obviously Contra getting an 8 there. Same for Foss Road. Again, both teams have got a lot more that they can offer. Patrick Vieira, centre midfield. Does he do it there? It's a safe thing to play in centre midfield.
Anywhere,
yeah, of course, he's brilliant. But I'm just thinking, if you want to get the best out of him, is that? But then again, he just keeps you solid in that centre midfield. Tato's going as he is till 60. Thank you very much, mate. Smuts, anything you want to do, or anything you want to see on your side before I click it on, mate?
Oh, he's going to double change at half time.
So RSC for Owen, Franco for Rivaldo. Right, RSC, Franco. I'm double checking everything I'm doing now, of course. So we'll play until I'll do my best to keep it as close to 60 as I can. Does look a lot more blue again.
What's your take on Santa Cruz? A lot of people seem to rate him, but I don't really see him ever doing anything.
He's a very good player who that jumped up from 57 to 70. Sorry, lads. He's a good player. I don't personally rate him too much. Don't have too much out of him on the game. Hence my letting him go at Badgers last time out, who he did retrain to a forward centre, which because he's got 14 for AMC. So I think he suits a little bit. But yeah, it's somebody who I just think it's far too early in how good most of the players are in this league. I just think it's a bit too early for him personally.
Yeah.
Anything you'd be doing if you were either manager here?
Just click on the match stats again for me. It's not really improved since the first half. You've got to, unless you've got a wild card player on the bench, which from memory, Badgers have a lot of wild players on the bench, but not necessarily wild card players there that are gonna. No, it's very difficult for me. I've seen quite a few subs benches tonight that I've not really liked.
I know he's 33, but Alex Aguinaga, he turned up well in that one season that I did properly going through. So two up top, Saviola on right. Frank is central with an arrow. Thank you very much. And then look at the Badgers. Adielson. Clever. I go for Nicky.
That doesn't surprise me.
And here it is. Contra for a 90% Panucci. I mean, I would have been pulling him down at DMR, but he hadn't done that. Right. You see any goals in this last 20 minutes?
Yeah. Do you know what? I still see this finishing 1-1.
Daleson does look very good. I mean, Foster would have seen the most likely in terms of the chances created and what's been on target. Toldo looks like he's
having a good game, isn't he?
Yeah, having a good game again. Seems like they've been having more on target. Van der Vaart's had his name about a little bit, and it does feel like it's going to fizzle out to
So I predict last game. I predicted like 3-1, and that was the score at halftime. This time I predict 3-2, and it finishes 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Foster Road boys, are you disappointed?
I mean, do you know what? Smuts will be disappointed in the stats. He won't be too disappointed because he knows that Tato's good at this. When I see things like this, it just reminds me how shit I really am, because I got fucking dicked by this Badgers team, and fucking Foss have outplayed them and deserve to win.
Yeah, that I think game week 1. I don't think it doesn't show anything about any team.
No, it showed me how shit mine was.
And then you got a win last game out though, didn't you? So it shows that you've obviously got
luck more than judgment, you know?
No, I don't think so.
I was asleep. It's because I was asleep and didn't influence the game at all.
So we're not going to the Exiles. We'll go to.
You can do it. It's fine.
No, we'll go to me v Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll look at Mike's team. Who?
Casillas being out is big.
Yeah. Just let me. It were Molina for a start. Sorry, I'll just have to quickly. I'll look at his bench. His bench.
Mate, I did this plenty of times where I forgot to do subs benches and stuff. You know when we've done all the games, Steve?
Yep.
And we do the little recap, can we just click on all of them and do match stats and player ratings?
Yeah, of course we can, mate. Of course we can, that's fine. So Max bench was... No.
He's saying Molina, Sands, Sorin, Shearer.
Yeah, Molina, Sands, Shearer. Yeah, I'm just... You can put off. Molina, Sand. Oh yeah, because I think I put Babiara down. And Sorin. Yeah, that's it. Any particular number you like, Mike, for the Geisler when it comes to it? But what do you think about the 2-4?
You know what? So it's a formation that I've tried in last weekend thankfully, because it was the bank holiday weekend and stuff. After getting dicked, I must have done 3 more test seasons of just different formations to not let that happen again. And this is one I tried, but you know me, I just don't like a lack of arrows in my teams. I like my teams to be fucking flying forward with arrows. So.
Yeah, I think it's a sensible setup. Obviously, Deisler coming in, who actually looks very good, Deisler.
Mm-hmm.
But the pace just doesn't seem right. But it just seems
it's got good passing there.
Yeah, he can do bits. Number him as you wish.
He wants game week 3 tactic, not game week 2.
Right. Hang on a minute. Sorry, Mike.
It looks very similar.
Yeah, and it was...
Imagine you can just do undo.
Carlos. Where did I went back? Anyway, I'll do this first. Right, just tell me right in back 1 minute. So I remember the rest of it. Then
I'll see if it was posted. Hang on.
It was Melina Sand. Sorry. Oh, it might have been here. It might have been here, wasn't it?
Makes sense.
There we go. Yeah, sorry, Mike. Yeah, I had some issues with it. I think I'm going to have to do some messing about with the game when I've done with this tonight. But anyway, do you think
it's much the same as it was before you changed it? So I still think the same. Jeremy's David Simeone. You're going to have to work very hard to get through that midfield.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, even Jeff Whitley gets a he gets a
token
rough
mention.
Yeah, it's. I mean, he's not rated so well. I mean, he just knows he's a massive, massive favourite of Mike, which. With nothing wrong with that. Obviously, we all like as well. That's why I've had Ben Donker for the last God knows how many seasons. So Brian brought him in this season. So Mike said, "Yeah, that looks fine." We've got Peter Sands obviously going to get number 5 because he's a DDMC. And then over to us, which we line up the same. I wasn't overly going to do this again. It was just for getting people playing. Toss-up were between West or Rustico starting, both coming in. Or does Sogolu start, which he really should be doing. But Ronald De Boer's come off the bench. He's had 1 assist, so I thought, give him a go in centre midfield. And then we've got Rui Costa, who has done nothing in Super League, but just is another one which it's nice to try and get a bit out of him. And Luca Toni come in, but Kesman last time out got a goal, got an 8, and you can't really drop people for it. Luckily, I don't have to play anybody that's shipping out this week. Anything about this mess of a team of ours, mate?
Well, actually, I was going to be a bit complimentary because obviously I predicted you to come bottom based purely on the squad before sort of the influx of transfers. And now you've got a substantially, at least in my opinion, a substantially better looking 11 and squad than you had to begin with.
Yeah, it feels better. Joe Cole came in at a great debut last time out. For him at this stage, have 1 game and do that. It sort of helps. Obviously, Kaladza can do that on his own. It's just this formation. I came across it just messing about, and it sort of. I think I was just messing with it, and I won Premier League season 1 Middlesbrough with some real myths, as in Karlstrom were in there, Selakovic were in there, some really players that are not like any of this level. So I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go with White Rose. And after a couple of seasons have been terrible, we were borderline qualifying for playoffs. So I thought, I didn't start like this, but then thought, I need to get a couple of players playing. So we did against Smokes last time out. Obviously, we were quite dominant. We did all right. So see how it goes tonight. But be interesting. Rustico needs to drop a keeper and bring somebody else up, but we'll deal with that after. So we go that 5, 7, 12. We'll do that. 14 for Rustico, which I think Rustico wore 14 when we actually won it. So any way you see this one going, mate?
I'm going to go for a 1-0 Dudley Hill win.
1-0 Dudley Hill. Which I'm not overly confident of myself because it's been very possession based so far for Stanley. And there's Nicholas Anelka. It doesn't matter how unhappy he is, he can still do what he wants to do. It seems like a good save there from the Stanley keeper, Mr. Schmeichel. As you can see, it's his red card. It looks like you don't often see not a goal after that follow up, which you've seen there. Dede coming down the left ring over. But Maravicki seems to have held it well. Reasonable half. But
reasonable half football. You're very much still in it, so I don't think there'll be much panic. But yeah, it's certainly on a knife edge now for the second half. Can you continue to edge the dominance? Can you make something of that dominance, or can Stanley hold off for the? Can they hold on for the 1-0 win that I was predicting?
Yeah, I mean, I think Peter Schmeichel with a 9. I mean, obviously, safe 4 out of 5. Looking down, some big players with 8s. Madueke is very good. I like Schmeichel on a blinder. Yes, he is, Mike, which is good for you. Very good for you, mate. Seeing Elkin not overly doing so well, got a 7, but to get a goal, we've seen a lot of that 7s, and yeah, go to 60ish. Yeah, 60ish is the right word, mate. But for me, I think I'm just gonna. He's on a 5 and he's a liability, isn't he? So I'm gonna.
It's a tough one, that, because I'm a big Montero fan.
Yeah, me too, mate. Obviously, he were very good on debut, made 6 tackles. But yeah, I just think on a yellow, on a 5, I think it's just the most sensible thing to do.
Intelligent decision, yeah.
So we're going as close to 60 as we possibly can. It looked like there is the second goal for Stanley. Like I said, looked very, very dangerous. First game out, and wow, we're absolutely getting There's Robbie Keane with his first goal for the Dudley. Nice of him to do that. We're at 53, and it still looks all red and black. The very, very, very solid from the Stanley boys. We'll go over to Stanley first and have a look at this. You've got Madueke, 9, very, very good player in my opinion. You got Simeone with a goal. Schmeichel has gone down a little bit. Obviously, we've only had another effort on target, just one, which obviously the goal, which is obviously going to take his rating down a little bit. Anything you want to do, Mike, at this present minute? We'll see.
I mean, this Stanley performance, which I have to applaud, is the sort of level that I dream my team could do.
Right, I'm gonna let's have a look here. So we can do that and do that. Might as well try and have a go a little bit.
Mate, if you're not trying, then what's the point?
Oh, yeah, we'll have oh, but I'm doing it to myself now. Cool. Call up. No, that. No. The bottom. I go. Sorry for Kisman. And we'll go. No, I'll leave it full time. Okay, Mike. Thank you very much. And there we go. We'll see if lift itself even more up and concede even more goals. But yeah, it's been a very dominant, very good performance from Stanley so far. Roberto Carl seems to have been, as much as his rating wasn't that good, he seems to have been at the heart of a lot. And there's the 4th for Stanley. Nicholas Anelka, don't matter how unhappy he is, he can go very well. But I think if you're Mikey, you're absolutely delighted with the way they're doing the business. And again, the amount of times you saw their follow up, I think it was 3 times, which you normally see a goal coming from.
I mean, that's not a bad performance by you guys. It's just a poor defensive performance. Or maybe even just a goalkeeping performance.
Yeah, it's on a 6. Pitch Schmeichel man of the match.
That's the difference. Look, Schmeichel man of the match.
Yeah, it's but I don't think it's just that. I think looking at this, you've got 9 and 8, 8, 9, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10.
I completely agree with Tato's comment there. That's a hell of a lot of goals for what I thought was a defensive looking team as well.
Yeah, definitely. We'll play Mike and we move on. Like I say, I don't think that I'm saying that tactic won't stick, but that as an away team, giving them efforts. This is what you alluded to earlier, wasn't it, with the Fulchester game, where you said if I'm having that amount of efforts,
yeah,
I'm expecting to win. But when you conceded 4, that's how we do. So obviously the news came out that news came out. Lucas Radebe damaged his spine. He's out for 9 months. At 32 years of age, he'll probably never make another appearance. He always looks very, very good at the start of the game. He's probably got a season, probably 2 in him.
Yeah, so he was scheduled on my list to be my next draft pick when Ian took him before me on the list.
Yeah, it's he's done very well with his drops. I mean, obviously Mirko Rema, which obviously contracts being offered. I think Raymer were a might bring in for Burn. So obviously I know Ian brought him in before draft picks last year. But looking at the Burn side, is it what do you feel compared to? I mean, I know you can't compare to other Burn sides, etc. But are you thinking this could be a side that can take him to?
It's not as strong as a previous Burn team, but it's still strong enough to emulate what previous Burn teams have done. And he's still actively trying to further improve it. I know I've had many a discussion with him about one or two players within my squad, and he's been very forthcoming with trying to, I know he's got this perception of always winning transfer deals and borderline, robbing people for some players. But in fairness, I've had many a good discussion with Ian in the last week or so about one or two players, and he's been perfectly generous. Just unfortunately for him, it's just not timed right with certain things that have happened at our club that we haven't been able to get one over the line. But yeah, this is another good team, another team that I've predicted to do well, and a team that I'm very concerned about playing tonight. We could, if this is one again, we could have a Badgers level scoreline if we don't reach any sort of level tonight.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, yeah, Gus Lopez, obviously, he's had a goal. Scored against us first game, done so well, but obviously he wasn't involved in the last save until he came in from out of the league. I think Tato brought him in at Badgers. The season before, I had him a little bit. Got Greaves it. I think he's a very good player when you play on an home save, but he's showed credentials at times, which is why Ian's putting his trust in him again. Ortega, not looking as good as the best Ortega will last save, but we know he can do bits. I think I genuinely don't think he's going to see the heights that he saw in the last save as well. That's just my opinion. Fiore and Totti, obviously he's big. Totti is Totti. Look at that, a goal and assist in 2 games so far, massive. And Fiore is Ian's love child. In fairness, and as much as he tries, being off. I remember bought a calendar off him, and it must have been when I had White Rose, because it was the time I had Lucio, and he put a little postcard in there, and he wrote Fiore for Lucio with a smiley face, which were really funny. We'll go over to yourselves, who are looking nice. Diego Tristan coming in for his debut, but apart from that, it's
So it was a bit of a shock to see the performance and the result on Thursday. This isn't what I'd planned for this game, but because Sancti are a side that I consider to be one of the better sides, I thought, well, I can't really change a winning team too much against another side that I think should do really, really well. They're on in... I mean, I'm no American football expert, but I obviously he's an AMC. Most people play an MC or further forward, so I'm calling in that sort of quarterback role in the middle of the DMs. We saw Haggis earlier play a similar one, but they had the 2 wider DMs moving forward. I'm looking at the central one. As I say, it's not what I was intending to play, but after the result, I couldn't really change it too much. I'm just hoping we start a bit better, because, again, in testing Burn, I think Burn are the only team that I've not managed to get any sort of result against, regardless of what formation I play. Montella will score. I already know that. So it's whether we can, I'm like I said earlier, I'm just hoping that the format of tonight, where teams go ahead and other teams come back, I'm hoping that might be us. But I've been quite surprised with Killy and the start he's made. Obviously, he was my first draft pick. And keeps his place after, he's got a goal. You've picked out a couple of people tonight that got a goal and assist. He got a 9 rating last time out. So I'm hoping he can do a little something tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it was great for you when you brought him into Gazelles for the little spell in last save, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ferdinand coming in. There's a 1 game, got an 8. Interesting to see how much he can or can't keep that up. But yeah, Veron, he got that 9 last time out. He's got all the credentials to play as an attacking DMC. Again, he could easily be possibly retrained. But I think it's if you're getting something out of him, I think it's playing him in this sort of position. I couldn't get no out of him playing him in MC on his own or AMC.
He is from every test that I've done, he is the one player that is consistent. So I'm hoping like that can maintain in the actual live save. Oh, I don't care, mate. Just hit alter.
Okay. I mean, that's obviously where we're going to go. I watched Game for predictions. I'll just say good luck, mate. And last game at night,
Just
and
please don't be shit.
We'll kick it off. And there just seem a lot of purple and pinkish to start with. It's like two shades of two colours for both teams. Very even game it's looking. See if you're getting the names involved. Guigo, who went to the Devils for the worst ever transfer in the world for Emmanuel Osadiba, which when I should have took Brugink at that time. But anyway, that's time's gone by. But yeah, it still seemed, as much as the possession for Burn seems on top, it did seem that Exiles were still having stand behind your chair. Looking at the match stats, did you?
I said we needed to start better, and that's a lot better than we did Thursday night. I'm shocked that we're in the lead. I'm shocked we've had that many attempts. Although it looked like there was a lot of our text, I felt it was a lot more of their attacking players in their text. So yeah, I prefer a better ratio of shots to on target. But again, I've said that the one thing I'm really missing is a properly good striker. So yeah, that's not really a surprise. We still need to be very good in this second half but Burn won't maintain those levels. They will certainly be better in the second half.
Yeah, so I'll click over at Burn first. Obviously, 6 Buffon, 6 Warnes, who's been a little bit of a mainstay through circumstance. I think Montella's not done much. Roy Keane, yes, he's got an 8. Yes, he's done some tackles. Do you worry about that yellow card? Obviously, I do.
No, he's a dependable player. He's not known for doing reckless.
So what you're saying is, do not take him off here and just keep him there, just in case.
It's the complete opposite to what you were saying about Montero, who has got previous. He's only had that sort of 1 or 2 seasons where he wasn't being reckless. Every other season, he was almost a guaranteed red.
Yeah. And then click over yourselves. Andre Oyer having an absolute worldie of her, and as we expect from Ian.
I'm going to go as is till 60 as well, please.
Oh, okay, mate. Yeah, you're looking very well. And again, I will do my very best to stop it as close as I can. And yeah, it does seem very much like Burn are really sort of piling the pressure on, but there's a lot of defensive strength in the Exile side.
We are getting absolutely battered so far.
Yeah, Burn have really, really come at it. So we'll have a look at Ian, who I expect will still go as is, but you've got Montella on a 6, you've got Ortega on a 6. Everybody behind.
The thing is, he hasn't got the one thing I would say Burn don't have is a really good option if Montella isn't available. I mean, I even had a look. I was looking at Tomadera the other day, and it's loaded up as one of the worst Tomaderas I can remember seeing. Comodini's obviously got some decent ratings, but he doesn't quite have the track record.
I think he's had spells, but I don't think he's ever been given a run. Yep, and he is as I expected, as is. And then over to yourselves. Oyer's dropped down today, but he's still won 5 out of his 5 tackles. He's had not much to do. Is that people just going past him? I don't know.
I'm going to make just one change, if I may, please. And it will be Nedved on for Aymar.
That's it.
That's it, yeah.
So we'll see this game out with another away team actually leading at the minute. And we go. You seem to get the Exiles do seem like they're coming back into it a little bit more, as much as it was very much Burn, and we're straight up to 90 minutes.
Yes! Come on! That's fucking horrific to watch.
Even game where Burn had won more tackles than headers, fairly even. If we go to
Unlucky, you deserve more than that, to be fair.
Thuram having an absolute worldie. That if you're getting all 7s and an 8 and a 9, you don't expect to lose in this league. It means everybody's doing the job. We'll click up at your lads. Oh, but Andrea back up to his 9.
Absolutely immense performance by Oya there. Look at his tackles.
Yeah, that's really, really good. It's when every single one has gone for of them being key. Manor won over the headers, and we've had nobody assisted the goal from Guigo, so I don't know what he's done with that.
It's just it.
But yeah, so we'll click over. So I would classify East Coast beat Stackington 3-2 in the match stats, as we were, and the player ratings as we see. Mario Stanic with the 10, Barry Ferguson with a 9, who has been absolutely
great player. If you play him right, he is a superb player.
Yeah, and I didn't know how to play him right. Look over at Foss Road, Toldo with the 9 on a match, as you'd expect, 7 on target, they didn't concede. Tato has been very, very good at not conceding goals for the last 2 seasons. But that's you take that as a massive point away from home. Los Santos beating Vikings 1-0. Match stats, fairly even game. Extra 1 on target from the Vikings. But look at the player stats where Lizarazu won a match, 8s, 7s, a little bit more sporadic. But Kietos with an 8, Cafu with an 8. Kietos with an 8 gives Jens plenty to think about. The Exiles, as we've just seen, away from home at Bern.
Huge result for us. That massive result.
Andrea with an absolutely phenomenal performance. See the badge stats.
I think he wants the individual ones.
Oh, that one. Sorry, mate. Yeah. Paul Scholes making 6 out of 10 tackles. Only one of them being key, but that's Paul Scholes being Paul Scholes.
You might as well click on Foss Road while you're at it then, because they obviously didn't get theirs.
Martin Larson again doing well. Obviously his positioning, as he alluded to. Patrick Vieira, Maldini doing plenty of kicking about. If that's all right for you, Taylor. Yeah. So Sancte against Taggis.
That was a good game. That
again, both having with this one we run about one having the same amount of shots on target. If you've had that away from home and you don't come away with a win, the player ratings, Walter Samuel man at match, which was that's a phenomenal performance as we said at the time. Sloss 2, Fulchester 2. Sloss a little bit better on target again. All the games just seem even. Does it just feel like that all the teams are so even at the minute? Cladden Sadov, as we said, with 2 assists as he can do, and then obviously there is pitch mark on man at match performance.
I said about teams who have something good at the back and good at the top that as a foundation, and you look at those ratings, and Schmeichel 10 and Elka 9 gives you everything you need to work from.
Yeah, right thing to take Montero off, I feel, but yeah, plenty to work on for us. Although to be fair, looking at that, it wasn't a 4-1 game. So what I will do is I will just quickly save it for a start.
And the league table and fixtures.
Yeah, that is the competition. So looking now, Stanley top after 2 massive wins.
Oh fuck me! I need to take a screenshot. We're in the top 6. Shit.
Yeah.
I was looking to kind of down by Sancti and Dudley Hill. I was like, "Where's our name?"
Yeah, well, looking at that, you've won your last 2 in a bit of run. You get back to home form. I mean, obviously, you want to score 4. Obviously, it's skewed with by that first game, but you take the 6 out, you conceded. You scored 3, you conceded 1 over your last 2 games, which I think that's decent. Sloss up there, Badgers up there, Foss Road, Northern Burn, Fulchester still. I mean, I think, like I say, I don't think until
fair play to Badgers and Sloths though. In a league that is so even, and we've seen results go either way. Even at this early stage, 3 games, they're still unbeaten.
Yeah, I mean, and the Vikings with a point.
I like that we don't have a team already cut adrift where they just can't get a point as well.
Yeah, it happens quite regularly, doesn't it? But looking at this you're 3 points away a win. If all these lose and all those win, we're up there. So
at this point, it doesn't really mean anything, does it? It's far too early.
Yeah, that's it. I think game week 8 or 9 up to 10. I think 10 is probably the cut-off point where you start seeing where teams probably may or may not finish. And we'll go back to the fixtures for next time. We're at home at the Badgers, which will be an absolute joy. You're at home at Santos, Fulchester at home at Foss Road.
That'll be a good game.
Yeah, very much so. And Aggies at home at East Coast, who had a good win. The Aggies boys had a great away win. Sanctai against Sloss, who started really well, and Sanctai should really done a little bit better tonight. But again, the Penza working really well. Stacking against Northern Burn and Vikings against Stanley, bottom v top, which I wouldn't be surprised to see the Vikings come away with an home win there. So it's definitely everything to play for. Thank you very much for joining tonight, mate.
No worries, it's a pleasure as always.
Eventually, after we got you the link, and I'll get on with Pax lads. It'll be pictures, etc., and then I'll see you all for Tato. It's Tato's first stream Thursday. Is that
Tato's debut Thursday?
Is that the one? I think it's the one.
So.
Yeah.
It must be, yeah.
Tato's debut Thursday. I'm sure. Yeah, you don't need much luck when there's you got me making mistakes left, right, and centre. So even though thank you very much, lad. Appreciate you joining us. Night, lads.